This is after we've applied this. Beautiful hit, finishing just inside that tree. What a difference. I've become super addicted with using these, and I'll be honest with you, it makes hitting driver a lot easier, and I know you are going to be really, really addicted to using them also. It's about that position at the top, right? Have a look at this blue little fuzzy, I'm going to call it fuzzy wire. We need to understand, where does it need to point? Does it need to point more to the sky? Does it need to point more down towards us? And what correlation does that have to us actually then controlling that club face into impact? Because we want it, we know this, look at that there. That is pointing directly to target. Now, to make that happen more often, which is why this becomes addictive, this position at the top is crucial. Let's crack on. So this is exactly how I've set up my blue fuzzy wire. Look how it's created a right angle between the top edge of the driver and where it is pointing. So it's literally showing that that club face is nice and square. That's how I want you to set it up. Now, you don't need this ball down here. This is just for me to show you, and you go, that makes it a lot easier. Just some reason with the ball being a lot bigger, it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to address the big ball to start with, just to make it a lot easier. We now need to get in tune with where this blue wire needs to point at the top. So if we swing top of the backswing now, and this is absolutely crucial right here, we need to understand that we have to avoid the wire pointing down to the ground. So that position right here. Now this is really, really crucial, because if I swing down now and don't do anything, where does my wire point? It points so far off to the right. So far off to the right. That's why you'd hit big slices, that's why the ball would travel higher, that's why you'd have to stand up into impact, why you'd really have to make all those compensatory movements in order to just try and get the golf ball to go straight. So it'd have to be a sort of like this, little flick of the hands. You'd have to really compromise absolutely everything, which is power, consistency, and the big thing, control. So we've established we don't want that blue wire to point down to the ground. So I want you to have a come and look at this here. If I turn here for you, that's what we're trying to avoid. Come and look at that there, where that blue wire is pointing. So therefore, then the club face is hanging down behind the shaft. This is another key area just to sort of really look at there. Can you see how the club face is hanging down on this side of the shaft here? Okay, we've really got to avoid that. Really got to avoid that. It will require, as I keep saying, so many compensatory movements in order just to hit the golf ball straight. So where do we want this blue wire? And you know what? This just becomes such a good visual, because you'll swing back in a second, come back to the golf ball and be like, oh, the blue wire points straight. And that's why my lessons say this gets so addictive with driver. Now have a look at this here. I'm now going to have the idea of pointing that blue wire over my head. Over my head. That's here. Look where that's pointing now. So it's not directly up to the sky. That would be sort of too far the opposite way. But it's pointing over my head, and now the club face is sitting on this side of the shaft. Not this side, but this side. Look, that's what I'm trying to get. Now in a second, I'll tell you what I'm feeling to do that, but more importantly, I just need to show you when I come down to the golf ball now, like watch me in the downswing now, watch this. If I come down and release this club a little bit, where's that blue wire now pointing? Straight back to target. Look at that. But more importantly, right, I'm actually able to turn better. I'm able to stay in posture better. I'm able to deliver power and not lose control. So let's do a comparison now of what we do want to see and what we don't want to see. On the right hand side is exactly what we do want to see. Look how I can stay in posture. I can deliver that blue line all the way pointing to target very easily and deliver power. Whereas on the other side of the screen, you can really see how I'm having to flick my hands, stand up, make so many compensatory movements just, I say this, just to make some sort of contact and attempt to hit the golf ball straight. Let's now address how we actually get that control and the position of the good at the top to make the downswing so much easier. So you can look at this, right? However I move my left hand has a real big correlation between what actually the blue wire does. So being really closed, being really open, or being nice and square. How do we get an understanding of what needs to happen? Well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to grab your golf club just in your lead hand to begin with. Make some takeaways, because very often we all start to falter in this first foot here, which then makes the top of the swing all out of whack. All out of whack. So I want you to make some takeaways now where you try and keep the blue wire pointing at the golf ball or to the ground for as long as possible. If I compromise that really quickly, look how that's compromised at the top. We lose it all, don't we? We absolutely lose everything. So I want you to focus on keeping that blue wire at the golf ball and then to the ground as long as possible. From here, just try and keep the left wrist nice and flat. Look what I've done. I've created a nice relationship which comes back to this point here of what I can make a repeatable point. So my advice for you here to train this into your golf game to make impact addictive is just use the visual of the blue and time after time, boom, practice that, boom, practice that. And then when you get a bit more comfortable one-handed, get both hands on, boom, practice that. Not here, just there, set and keep the wrist flat to the top. So we're just practicing that, 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 that. Don't think too complicated about this. The addictive thing is, you're making the golf swing, again, a visual improvement, okay? And what I mean by a visual improvement, you're working to a visual cue. You're not working to a technical jargon, which is absolute rubbish in my opinion, because how on earth are you going to hit the golf ball? You're working to a visual that you can go, oh yeah, you know what? I know what to do here. Okay, so the beauty of this is you can hit some shots away. So let's hit this one away right here. On the golf course, 100%, have a few waggles, get the blue to the ground. Obviously you can't use this in competition, but you can when you're practicing. Look at that shot. Beautiful hit, finishing just inside that tree. What a difference. Now when you start striking the golf ball better, you also actually want to match the golf ball that you're using. So I'm actually experimenting with the Vice Tour at the minute, but you might want to try a different Vice. To add to that, they got a promotion throughout the whole of July, which means when you spend over $100, you get a free Vice cap. Don't miss out on it. And also, thanks so much for watching today's free simple golf tip.